The poor man was married to a beautiful woman. They never quarreled. The husband loved his wife, and the wife loved her husband. They were very happy together. However, they had a rich, handsome neighbor who saw the poor man's beautiful wife and fell in love with her. "I want to marry her myself," he thought. Every day, while the woman's husband worked in the fields, the rich man visited their home. "You're a beautiful woman," he told her, "but your clothes are old. Why doesn't your husband buy you pretty new clothes? I'm sure he doesn't love you. If he did, he would buy you wonderful clothes. Divorce him and marry me. I will buy you the best dresses in the land. Then you will be the most beautiful woman in Ethiopia." At first, the woman ignored the rich man, but he came to her house every day, repeating the same things. Eventually, she began to think, perhaps my neighbor is right. Why doesn't my husband buy me beautiful new clothes? Maybe he doesn't love me. That night, she confronted her husband. "Look at me, husband. My clothes are old and ugly. Buy me some new ones." Her husband smiled and replied, "You don't need new clothes to me. You are the most beautiful woman in the world." Angrily, she said, "Don't you love me? If you love me, buy me a new dress." He loved her and wanted to please her, but he only had a little money, which he needed for a new plow. Still, he decided to buy her a new dress the next day, hoping it would make her happy. When he brought the dress home, she put it on and exclaimed, "Thank you, my dear husband. Now I know that you love me." When the rich man came to visit again, she proudly showed him her new dress. "You see?" she said. "My husband loves me very much. He bought me this beautiful new dress." The rich man shook his head. "But a good husband doesn't just give his wife clothes, he gives her gold." "Where's your gold necklace? Where are your gold rings? Why doesn't your husband give you those?" He opened a box to reveal beautiful gold jewelry. "Look at these. Divorce your husband and marry me, and I will give you all this." The woman dismissed him, saying, "Go away. I love my husband, and he loves me. We are happy together." But the rich man came every day, showing her the jewelry, and eventually, she began to think, perhaps he is right. Why doesn't my husband buy me gold? Doesn't he love me? That day, she didn't cook or make a fire. When her husband returned home, tired and hungry, he found no dinner waiting for him. "There's no dinner for you tonight," she said. "You don't love me." "What?" he exclaimed. "But my darling, I love you more than anything. You are the most wonderful person in the world. Then why don't you buy me gold jewelry?" she insisted. When a man loves his wife, he gives her a gold necklace and rings for her fingers. Her husband felt worried. "I spent money on her new clothes," he thought. "How can I afford gold? I'll go see my brother, perhaps he will lend me the money. I must buy gold for my dear wife. I want her to be happy." The next day, he visited his brother. "Lend me some money, brother," he said, "and I will work for you in your field." "All right," his brother replied, "but you must work hard. There are many stones in my field, and you must move them all away." The husband agreed, took the money, and bought some gold jewelry. When he brought it home, his wife was ecstatic. She adorned herself with the necklace and rings, asking, "Look at me. Am I not beautiful?" "You're very beautiful," her husband replied. "If you are happy, I am happy." She wrapped her arms around him, thanking him. "Now I know that you love me." The next day, her husband woke early and rushed to his brother's field, which was covered in stones. "I must work very hard now," he thought. "I must start early and stop late to pay my debt." Meanwhile, his wife decided to prepare a wonderful dinner for him, thinking about how hard he worked and how much he loved her. One day, the rich neighbor appeared again. "Hello," he called out. The woman came outside. "You were wrong about my husband," she said. "Yesterday, he bought me this beautiful jewelry. He loves me very much, and I love him. I will not divorce him. I will not marry you." Worried, the rich man thought, "If I want her, I must be clever." He said to her, "Your husband gives you clothes and jewelry, but I can give you more than that." "What do you mean?" she asked. "Can your husband make miracles?" the rich man questioned. "Miracles? No, of course he can't," the woman replied. "Only God can make miracles." "But I can," he insisted. "Love can make miracles. If your husband loves you, he can make miracles for you. If you love me, I will make miracles for you." "Make a miracle for me now," she challenged. "I can't," he replied. "You must promise to love me first. Leave your husband, and came to me, then I will make wonderful miracles for you." The woman said nothing, and the rich man left. That night, the poor man returned home, weary and hungry. His wife cared for him, bringing water and delicious food. As he ate, she thought, "My poor husband works so hard for me. The rich man is foolish. How can my husband make miracles? It's impossible." But the rich man continued to visit her every day, asking, "Did your husband make a miracle for you yesterday?" Each time, she remained silent, but soon, she began to listen to him. One day, when her husband came home, he noticed she looked sad. "Dear wife, what is wrong?" he asked. "Are you sick?" "No," she said, "I'm sad because you do not love me." "What?" he cried. "But you know that I love you. I bought you new clothes and gold jewelry. You're the most precious thing in the world to me. But you don't make miracles for me," she said, her voice full of disappointment. Her husband was surprised. "Miracles? Of course, I can't make miracles." "Why do you want a miracle? Who gave you this idea?" "Our neighbor came to see me today," she admitted. "He said love makes miracles. If a man loves a woman, he will make miracles for her." The husband felt worried. "That wicked man wants to take my wife," he thought. "All this trouble comes from him." When he first came, she wanted new clothes, then gold jewelry, and now a miracle. "What can I do? If I don't make a miracle, perhaps my wife will leave me and marry him." The next day, he trudged to his brother's field, feeling desperate. "I must pray," he thought. "Only God can help me now." He looked up to heaven. "O Lord God," he prayed, "please help me to make a miracle. I love my wife and want to keep her. Don't let this rich man take her from me." He worked all morning, moving stones from his brother's field. In the middle of the day, he sat under a tree to rest. Another man was already sitting there. "Who are you?" the poor man asked. "I am a wizard," the man replied, "and I have a gift for you. Look here, I have 2 sticks that can make miracles." The poor man felt a surge of hope. "What kind of miracles?" he asked eagerly. "If you touch a person with the first stick," the wizard explained, "he will become a donkey." The poor man thought of the rich man and smiled. "A donkey? That's very good. And if I touch him with the second stick, what happens?" "He will become a man again," said the wizard. The poor man took the sticks and jumped up, filled with joy. "Oh, thank you, my friend. I prayed to God, and he sent you to me. Now I can keep my wife and punish my enemy." He ran home. "Wife," he called out, "come here. I'm going to make a miracle." His wife came outside, curious. "A miracle? What miracle?" "Look," he said, and touched her with the first stick. At once, she transformed into a donkey, braying in surprise. Her husband touched her with the other stick, and she became a woman again. "Husband, that's wonderful!" she exclaimed. "It's a real miracle." "How did you do it?" "I prayed to God," he replied, "and he helped me." "Now, wife, I am going to punish my enemy." "Your enemy?" she asked, concerned. "Who is that?" "You know my enemy," her husband said, no longer smiling. "It's the rich man, our neighbor. He comes to our house when I'm working in the fields, giving you bad ideas, asking for new clothes, gold jewelry, and now a miracle. Am I right? Did our rich neighbor give you all these ideas?" His wife hung her head in shame. "I'm sorry." "It's true. He said all those things. He wanted me to divorce you and marry him, and I listened to him." "Do you want to divorce me and marry him?" he asked. Looking into his eyes, she replied, "No, dear husband. I want to stay with you forever. I will never listen to him again." "Then take this stick," her husband said, giving it to her. "Touch the rich man with it." He kept the second stick hidden away. The next day, while working in the field, the rich man came to visit the woman again. "Well?" he asked. "Can your husband make miracles yet?" "Yes," she said, and she touched him with the first stick. At once, he transformed into a donkey. "Now," she said, "you can go to work and help my dear husband." She led the donkey out to the fields where her husband was laboring. "Ah, a donkey!" he exclaimed. "Now I can finish the job quickly." From that day on, the poor man assigned many heavy loads for the donkey to carry. The donkey worked hard, moving stones from the fields, taking sacks of teff to the market, and bringing flour and coffee home. Over the years, the poor man became richer with the help of the hard-working donkey. One day, the poor man looked at the donkey. It was tired and old, standing still with its head bent down. Feeling sorry for it, he went into the house and retrieved the second stick. He touched the donkey with it, and at once, the rich man stood there, though he was no longer a handsome young man. He was old and tired, his back bent. "You tried to take my wife away from me," the poor man said. "That was wrong. Go home now, and don't look at other men's wives again." The rich man left and never returned. Meanwhile, the poor man and his wife lived happily together for many more years.